Corey, now we got some action going here, so we're going to kick off today's Idea Wednesday. Now, I want to just repeat for a minute what we're doing here. We have the inner circle has sales meetings every other week. Today is not a sales meeting. We have two a month. This is not one. And if you recall, we called the alternate Wednesdays, we call them open mics. And what open mic was just an opportunity for anybody to air a problem, an issue, a concern, something going on in their world. I wanted to be available to them to give my 2 bits from a third party. So we called that open mic. Well, as the year unfolded, I wasn't particularly satisfied with the way the group was utilizing open mic. So I decided something new. And instead of open mic, I decided to call it Idea Wednesday. Now, we have our sales meetings every 2 weeks, and then in the alternate Wednesdays, we have what's called Idea Wednesday. And I'm asked a few people on the line today if they had ideas, but what I'm finding already, and this is only the second Wednesday we're trying this, I'm finding out that the people who join the call are really coming to join to get ideas, which is fine, which is good. But if you don't come up with ideas, then I'm going to have to give you the idea, and then that's okay too. I mean, but that's only my idea. So I was hoping that we'd share a lot of ideas, which would stimulate your thinking, and the word idea, folks. So let's just concentrate on that for a minute. Ideas are good things. That doesn't mean it's going to work. There's no guarantees, but I have an idea, and let me explain something that happened to you just yesterday, and this is an absolute God's honest true story. My good friend and associate, Stuart Cohen, he sent me an email about 6 months ago, and he had put in the Travel Research Online blog. He posted a blog, and what it was, in a sense, was how terrible some business cards are. Okay, they're some business cards, and I'll say it, are amateurish. And he was saying that here's your billboard. The business card is your billboard, but some of them were just kind of clip artish, and they just weren't giving you the brand that you wanted. And he made a comment on that. And he also said something else. Now, you can agree with this or don't agree with it. That's okay. But he said that when you have AOL on the back of your email, or Gmail on the back of your email, or Comcast on the back of your email, it just triggers. It doesn't trigger cheap. It doesn't trigger inexpensive, but it certainly triggers something. It doesn't trigger professionalism as emails go. Now, I know you've been using AOL for 1,000 years and your email works, and it's okay if you want to defend that. But all Stuart was saying, and I agreed with him, was that when you have these emails and you're trying to play in the big leagues, it just throws up a little tiny red flag because everyone has a Gmail account. The AOL is so easy. It's 1,000 years old. And he suggested you need a little more branding. Like my email is MikeMarshev.com, Mike@MikeMarshev.com. Now, there's no big deal there. What's the difference? It's email's an email. But they're not expensive to brand your own email. So in any event, Stuart says to me, here's the idea. He says, Mike, these cards aren't very good. Why don't we offer a free service to people to send us their business cards, and we will give them a third-party critique on what we like and what we don't like and what we think could be improved. And I said, Stuart, that's a great idea. Well, that's where it ended. I have an idea. I saluted the idea, and it didn't go any further. Well, yesterday I saw in the email bin somewhere, some woman out there went to a conference, found out the same thing we did 6 months ago, said to her audience, I will critique your business card, and she said the response was overwhelming. She said, I couldn't believe how many people gave me their cards. So when I read this on the internet yesterday, I went back to Stuart and I said, Stuart, we had the idea, but an idea in and of itself is worthless. This woman did something about her idea, and I have to applaud her. So the point I'm giving to my inner circle group is this. Ideas are great. The ideas are a dime a dozen. Some are better than others. Some are just downright awful, but they're all ideas. But unless you do something, unless you try a balloon, unless you throw something or throw a dart, unless you take an idea and run with it, it's just an exercise. So we're going to toss around an idea or two today, but if you don't, if it doesn't trigger your attention, then don't do anything. Don't do anything just to keep busy. That's crazy. But if something hits your imagination or stimulates, hey, that's a good idea. Try it. Do something about it. Tweak it. Edit it. Play with it. Because I'm telling you, one of these ideas for you is going to work. It's going to hit the you at the right time, in the right market, at the right person, and it's going to work. So I just want to open up with that today, that ideas are great, but unless you do something about it, nothing's going to happen. Okay, with that now, I would like somebody out there, because we're all muted still, somebody just type in, can you hear me? Say yes or no. Just type in the question box, yes or no. Can you see the ideas on the front page? We're just tracking. Okay, Sharon. Hey, Sharon, how are you, Sharon? Thanks very much for popping in. Let me see who else popped in. Hey, Bob said yes. John, Phyllis, Nancy, Arvid. Very cool. Okay, everybody's tuned in. All right, so let's go. Let me, okay, in that same question box, let me just, okay, Donna. Hello, Donna. Dean. Hey, Dean. Good to see you. Got you my email this morning, Dean. We're going to talk about you in a minute. And Mike, okay, Mike. Mike, I don't know your wife, Mike. I don't know her, and that's okay. But listen, who has an idea they want to share with us? Go put it in the question box there. Who has in the question box? Just say I have an idea. Anybody wants to share something? I'm looking at the question box now before I give you mine. Hey, Diana, I figured if I gave you long enough, it would work. So let me go to you, and I'm unmuting Diana. And oop, I didn't unmute you. Okay, there you go. Diana, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, so
yeah, I was caught off guard when you asked me the first time.
Oh, right. Well, hey, listen. Let me just comment on that for a minute, Diana. Okay, let me comment on that. That I asked Diana a question, and she said I was caught off guard. Well, in sales, folks, that's called the death pause. And the death pause is when a client or a prospect or a customer asks you a question, and it catches you off guard. And immediately you go into, oh, holy cow, what am I going to do? And you answer usually with the first thing that comes to your mind. Okay, now this is a very important lesson. This is Sales 701. So remember that if somebody asks you a question, you're off guard. Now the way you defend that is give this some thought. What if Mike asked me this? What if Mike asked me that? What if Mike asked me this? And you do a little homework, and chances are you're going to be ready for the question. But here's another lesson. When you ask your client a question and they go into the death pause, I do not want you to believe their answer is the correct answer. Their answer is the first answer that comes into their mind. So you as a professional salesman now say, hey, that's pretty cool, but in addition to that, what? And then you ask the question again. Now they've had time to think about it, like Diana's been thinking about it, and now the answer is going to be true. What do you find the most important element of a vacation is? Price. Hey, that's a good one. But in addition to that, what's important to you? Well, that my kids have plenty to do. That's the answer. So by probing through the first answer into the second answer, chances are you're going to get closer to the hot button. Okay, sorry, Diana, I stepped on you. You have an idea. Let us have it.
Well, geez, Mike, I forgot now. No. Mike and I are going to
things down. Don't you have a pen and paper? Come on.
Mike and I are going to partner with a women's small boutique store, and next door to them is a wine store. And so we're going to have like a fashion show wine tasting, and the wine that we're going to be tasting, we will promote a cruise for that region.
That's a fantastic idea. And is that in motion now?
It is in the process. Yes, we're waiting to hear from one of the people involved on a date to do this.
So you have a triple whammy going. You got the travel company, which is you. You have the wine company, which is the wine guy, and then you have a boutique.
Right.
Wow, that's very cool. Very cool. And you're still waiting on a date. Now, whose idea was that?
Well,
Theirs or yours?
well, this friend of mine together, she works at the store, and we kind of were talking about it, and we came up with it together. But the fashions, I think, are going to be changing in August, so she'll probably want to promote the August wear in the new fashions in August, so that's probably when we'll be doing it.
And of course, you're going to invite all of your clients and all of their clients, and you're going to piggyback on each other's database. And of course, you're going to press release this, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So you squeeze it, and then you have maybe a little newsletter on it. And you really maximize. You're going to do something. You really got to maximize the distribution.
Sounds good.
Okay, that's very cool. Very cool. Does anybody have any questions of Diana or wait a minute? Let me just see. Pamela's coming in here. Relevant for me, I had a client who can no longer pick up the sales. Okay, wait a minute, Pamela. Hold on. Anybody have anything that? Holy cow, we got some good stuff coming in. Wait a minute. Jan says, has the webinar started? Diana, can you hear me?
I can.
Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. So Jan Campbell, come back, Jan, and ask me again. Can you see the screen, Jan? This is a little alarming here. Somebody else just type something in and tell me you can see the screen, or is it just Jan's computer? Pamela Wilson, yes, all is good, Phyllis. Okay, so Jan has some snag going on here, and I don't know what it is, and I don't know how to fix it, Jan. So hold on a second, everybody. Hold on. Nope, I can't do that. Okay, I'm gonna. Does anybody have something to ask Diana on the collaboration of wine tasting and boutique? Okay, does anyone have? Let me go back then. Let me go back and open up. Let me open up. But Pam, you can't speak, Pam, because you don't have a microphone. So let me see. Hold on 1 second. Okay, Diana, no one's asked any questions, but thanks for that input. Keep us posted, okay?
Will do, Mike.
Keep us posted. Thanks, Diana. I'm going to mute you up here. Now, the reason I'm muting people, folks, is because GoToWebinar doesn't allow open forums. And to keep the noise under control, I don't open it up to everybody. But that said, I'm going to see if I can open it up. No, I can't open up. No, you can't do that on GoToWebinar. Okay, so who has another? Let me see. Phyllis says, Diana, did I miss the destination, or did you have one in particular? Okay, I think the destination, I'm going to put Diana back on the phone here, but I think the destination was either her store or the wine store. But let me unmute Diana again. Diana, they said the destination. There is no destination, right?
No, we don't have that selected yet, but it will be whatever, like if the wine store is going to focus on California wine, then we'll do that, or Italian wine, or France. We'll find a cruise and promote it around that.
Okay, where will this evening take place?
It's going to take place at the clothing store.
Okay, I think that's what the question was. So at the clothing store, and depending on the wine, you're then going to promote the territory, and depending on the territory, you'll promote the cruise.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, hope that was clear from Phyllis. Great. Okay, Phyllis says great. So Diana. Okay, Pamela says, Diana, are you planning on discussing the destination in the cruise?
I think the time limit might be so small that we will have flyers available for some select cruises, and we'll answer questions maybe on river cruising, but I haven't thought that far ahead yet.
Okay, my thoughts were just my thoughts is that the people, the draw in this case, I think the draw, the attraction, is the wine tasting and the fashion show. Do you feel that
Correct.
way, Diana?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's what they're coming to see. So they're coming
I'm
for
just
the
an
little wine
accessory.
tasting. Sorry?
I'm just an accessory.
Yeah, but see, but you're a very important one though. See, because
Right.
you're piggybacking off of the draw. So therefore, I think you have to be careful. Your objective in something like this is contacts, is relationships. It's how you doing. It's my name's Diana. My name's Mike. And when Diana said her and Mike are doing it, it's not me. It's her husband, Mike. But when you're going to establish a lot of relationships. So then you go in step 2 and follow up with the cruise.
Correct.
The way I interpret it.
Correct.
Okay, yeah, because you don't want to, people don't want to be sold. They want to go watch and taste wine and look at fashions, and then they'll piece it together. So call it a soft sell, and I don't think you want to just say, hey, listen, and here's a cruise for you. I don't think so, but maybe someone has a different opinion. To me, it's the relationship. Okay,
exactly.
So thank you, Diana. I'm going to mute you up here for a second. Thank you for contributing. And I'm going to unmute Mr. Schaefer, who's come up with an idea. Let me see, Bob. We'll see if I can find you on here. Okay. Okay, Bob, you have an idea. Let's have it, man. This better be good.
Well, before we get to my idea, I have a comment on Diane's idea.
Okay, that's Diana.
Diana, yeah.
There you go.
I really think, Mike, that she does need to make the cruise part of the event.
Okay,
in other words,
good input.
Going in to the event, why the cruise is an extension of the wine. Wine lovers want to go to the region, and I would make sure that the clothes that are shown are appropriate for a cruise to that region. In other words, it's really an isosceles triangle. And the cruise is, in my mind, just as important as the wine and the clothes that go with the wine and the cruise. So I really think Diana needs to select a cruise and be in a position to promote all 3 aspects. In other words, link the wine to the region that the cruise will visit, and here's how you should dress for the occasion.
And Bob, if I stand corrected because I'm thinking this through now. If you promote it as the isosceles triangle, then everyone is prepared for all 3 pieces.
Exactly.
So if you promote, yeah, exactly. Okay, so there you go. I see it clearer now.
And it gives her cruise clients or her travel clients a reason to go. Otherwise, unless they like wine and they're in the market for new clothes, there's no reason for them to show up.
Right. I like that, and I'm going to have Diana come back on the line in a second. But to me, Bob, we're talking river cruising, right?
Probably, yes.
Okay, cool. All right, Bob, I'm coming back to you with your idea. Oh, go ahead, Bob. Go.
It's probably a cruise on the Rhone River.
Yep.
With a pre-cruise in Paris.
Right.
Anyhow, I have a client who has traveled with me many, many times. And 6 months ago, he mentioned he'd love to cruise out of Venice. So that stuck in the back of my mind. And a second client told me the same thing. They'd love to cruise out of Venice. So I, last week, put together an itinerary on a deluxe product that would be a 7-day Venice to Rome cruise with a 3-night extension in Rome. And I had lunch with him last week and just gave him the preliminaries, and he said, hey, that sounds great. You ought to promote this to the 51 couples who live in my Myrtle Beach condo. He happens to be president of the condo association, and it's an upper end condo. The prices start at $800,000. It's a beachfront, and so clearly suddenly I have 50 couples who are not in my client base at all, and he's going to set up a presentation at an owners meeting, and I'm saying, gee, why didn't I think of it? It's a great idea, and even if they don't book, I get on their radar screen.
Bingo. That's beautiful. That's fantastic.
So my point is, we need to be thinking of some indirect targets. And in this case, you know, I've worked with this man for 7 years, and it never occurred to me that his condo association would be a potential group cruise.
Well,
I'm looking at a package that will run about $9,000 a person.
Wow, how cool is that? Hey, while I think of it though, Bob, anyone on the line who has not gone to check out the river cruising strategy, you have to go do it, because that's the strategy. Is it's a lunch and learn. How do I get into a large group to introduce myself on a subject? I don't care what your subject is. We're talking river cruising at the moment, but go to www.mikemarshev.com/river cruising. And you'll get most of you have already been there, I think, but some of you haven't. Go there and just look at the first opening video. It'll just tell you how the strategy works. And Bob, that's what it is, right? It's getting in front of a group of people.
Especially if it's part of your target audience to begin with. You know, it's back to knowing who you want as clients, and these are the type of people I really want as clients. So it makes sense for me to drive 175 miles to where they are and get in front of them.
Right. Now, has that been? Do you have a date yet, Bob, for that? Did I miss that?
It'll be mid-June.
Okay, cool. So it's soon, though. Great. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Let me. And is that your idea, Bob? Is that what you were saying?
Yes.
Okay. Does anybody have anything that would want to question Bob on? Type it in. I'll keep Bob live for a minute.
You know, to further amplify it, like I said, this client has been a client of mine for 7 years, and I've known him for 20. And, you know, I overlooked the potential he might represent beyond his own bookings. And I guess that's the real idea, is to look at your client base and to look at where they're connected and how they might lead you to other prospects.
Well, that strategy, Bob, and people when they say sales and marketing and they go to the workshops and go to the seminars, they immediately think, how am I going to go out and cultivate new relationships from scratch? And of course you can do that, but the easy way is to go to the people you already know and have them help you get to the next client, group of clients, or opportunity. I mean, go the easy way. Work with people you know.
And on top of that, he bought my lunch.
And then he bought your lunch, and I know that you don't eat much, so it was a steal for him.
Right.
So there you go. But in any event, okay, no questions on this, Bob. I'm going to ask somebody else. Thank you, Bob, for sharing that. Thank you very, very much. I'm going to mute you up, Bob. And you'll be back in an example in a minute. So Bob's muted. Anybody else have something that I have one in the hopper in case things get quiet here. I'm looking at the screen. I don't have anything yet. Okay, so we're going to go to the next slide here on the presentation. Let's see what this is. Okay. This came in this morning from Bob. I just want to share this with you. This was exactly the email that he sent me. Mike, a couple of weeks ago, I received a call from a woman who referred me to a past client who told her that I could help her with a cruise. Okay. In short, two couples booked. So there was the client referring somebody, and the two people took the cruise. But here's the rub. Here's the strategy. Bob then took 2 minutes to handwrite a thank you note to the person, the client, who was not going on the cruise but who referred in the past, and she hasn't booked it in 2 years. And yesterday she called Bob and booked the cruise. And he said, now I'm a believer. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, you think that it's so simple. If you start writing more notes like this, of appreciation, of acknowledgement, of salute, of awe, whatever you want to call it, just respond to people doing something that we all thrive on it, you will become a good guy. And we do business with good guys. Now, Bob, I'm going to go back to you on this particular email, Bob, and fill in the blank, something I missed, and tell the people exactly what happened. You're live.
Well, there's really not a whole lot to add to the email. The funny thing was that the client who had referred the other two couples to me, after she got the handwritten note, she called me to say she appreciated the note and that it prompted her to think about the fact that they hadn't planned anything for this summer. And so they got to talking about it and said, well, can you get us a cruise? We have in late May some time. I know it's short in, but can you find us something and in short order that we would be interested in? And fortunately I did, got them a good price, and I know that she will refer other clients.
Bingo.
Just because I took the time to appreciate what she had done for me.
Well, that's very, very cool. And let me piggyback on that for a minute, Bob. That I have my mail forwarded north and south and each way. And I just got back to New York, went to the post office. I did a job in Annapolis last year in the spring. On my way down, January. On my way down in January, and my post office did not forward mail for some reason. They screwed it up here in New York, so I did not get mails. But yesterday, I went to the post office, and there are two handwritten notes that were written to me in January that I just got yesterday because the mail screwed it up. Or maybe I screwed up the forwarding. Who cares who screwed it up? I didn't see it. But here was two people out of the seminar I gave in Annapolis last January who took the time to handwrite me a note of appreciation. And it says, Dear Mike, a note of thanks for jump-starting our 2013 for me and my team. Well, they wrote in January. I got it yesterday in May. Well, as soon as I hang up with you folks today, I'm calling these people because I would have acknowledged these back in January. And I just want to say thank you. I want them to know that I acknowledge this very, very nice note. Now, these two people, one's name's Karen and one name's Matt, have they gone up to on the top of my list as neat people? Yes, they have, because they took the time to do this. When you take the time to do it, even if the people aren't squared enough to say thank you to you, you're going to the top of the list, right to the top. And it's such an easy thing to do, and Bob just got business from it, and now he's a believer. Now, Bob, don't be a believer and stop doing this, pal.
Absolutely.
I mean, now, and it's easy not to do things. I mean, it's easy to say I know what I should do, but I'm not going to do it. It's easy to do that, but it works, folks. So if you want to grow your business, do what works, and I'm telling you, and Bob's telling you, this works.
Hey, it was a 3-sentence note on an informal card.
There you go. That's all you need. It's just an acknowledgement. You know, it's just a 10-4. You're on the case. That's all. All right. Let me go to this. And Dean, if you're on the line, you'll recognize this. One of our inner circle members spotted this website, and it's senior living, and it's out of Canada. Now, seniors, seniors travel, and it's a good market. And if you look down here on the right, it's under the bottom right-hand corner. It's travel and transportation. One of their menu items says travel. Well, you may not realize this, folks, but that's your business. There it is, right there. That's you. So Dean asked me. He says, Mike, how do I position myself so I can write and get into this website? Now, let me just back up. Ladies and gentlemen, there are only 257 million websites like this, okay, about women living, male living, gay living, dog owner living. I mean, there's a million websites that are out for particular groups of people. Now, you decide what group you want to go after. In this case, Dean said, Mike, it makes sense to me. It's in Canada, and it makes sense to me. So how do I position myself? Well, I'm going to tell you how to do this. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry that has an idea says, hey, I can write for this blog because I'm in the travel business. So what they'll do is they'll send a cold call email saying, can I write for your magazine? Can I write for your newspaper? Can I write for your blog? Can I? Well, that's a dime a dozen. That's a wish list. And I don't want you to pursue that opportunity in that way. I'm going to tell you how I would suggest you do it. If you wanted to write or contribute to this organization, Senior Living, the first thing you have to do is you got to do your homework. And that means you have to read every button on this page. Click it, read it, understand it, internalize it, decide what it is that's going on here. And then you decide if it makes sense to you, if you buy into their philosophy, hey, this is really cool, I like this, this is my kind of website. You have to buy into the website, and you do that by taking 2 hours and perusing it. And in 1 minute, if you decide it's not for you, bingo, you're gone. But you do your homework. Okay, that's number one. Number two, you find out under the contact us, and there was a line item here somewhere that said contact us. I can't see it here, but if you click around, there's a button somewhere, not here, that says contact us. So that's what I did. So now I know that Bobby Joe Reed is the managing editor. So if I would go after Bobby Joe Reed, that's who I would go after. And I might even go to LinkedIn to see if Bobby Joe Reed is on LinkedIn, to see what she's up to. I'd do a little research on Bobby Joe Reed, not a lot, but just a little cup of coffee. I'd see if she's on LinkedIn and Facebook, and I just Google her a little bit. Google her first, Bobby Joe Reed. I wouldn't go after the office manager because they're doing the staples. And Barbara Risto, the publisher, they'd probably pass it down to Bobby Joe Reed. So I would go to Bobby Joe Reed, and then I'd write Bobby Joe an email. And in the email, first of all, number one strategy, read the blog and e-zine magazine. And then I'd say, Bobby Joe, this magazine is incredible. This is a beautiful thing you've put together. I mean, that's what I'd say, because everybody likes applause if it's sincere. You've done a great job. I really enjoyed the articles I read. All right, this is my kind of place. And then you say, I'm in the travel business. I've been in the business for 1,000 years. I would love to contribute to your readers and share my experience with them. I'd love to do that. But so far, you're just wishing and hoping. And then I would say, attached are 3 sample articles that I've written. So now they can see that you're the real deal. Not I want to write for you. Say, hey, here's my style. Here's what I write about. Here's how I can contribute. Check me out. So it's kind of like a freebie. And then you say, please feel comfortable to use these articles if they make sense to you. So here they are. Here's 3 freebies. Go ahead, use them. Here they are. That's me. This is who I am. This is who I've been. Here's my articles. Your competition doesn't do that. Your competition says, hey, can I write for you? Now, anyone who's ever written anything for anybody knows that the deadlines are incredibly fast. They just keep coming so fast. That's why 3. Then you say, because you're inviting them to use the 3, and number 5, I say, use these. But here's number 6. I know how deadlines work, and I will keep pumping articles at you so you stay ahead of the curve. You won't have to call me up and say, where's the article? I'm going to give you 2 or 3 in advance, so you always have something to draw from. If you don't want to use it, that's fine. But I'm going to continually salt them at you, so you have a little file of my articles and use them whenever you want. So you're building your file at that editor's office there. And then you might include a satisfaction testimonial that says, boy, I read your article, Dean. I loved it. Good stuff. Keep up the good work. Billy Joe Bob, from Florida. So then you just throw a testimonial. Now, that's how I would put together a campaign if I wanted to get into somebody's magazine. And if I don't know if you follow Travel Institute, but I write articles for them. This is how I did it. Travel Research Online. I'll tell you what I did for Travel Research Online. I didn't send them 3 articles. I sent them 23 articles. I went back into my blogs, and I sent them those articles. So now they have 23. So they never call me up on a deadline. They just have a whole pot full of articles that they can use whenever they want. And if you saw 2 last week or the week before, they picked one. I got in again. And now if I write something else, I'll toss them at them. That'll be 24 and 25, which now brings me to another point. If you discipline yourself to write for your blog, write your blog. You write an article for you in your blog every Wednesday or whenever you want to do it, and then take your blog posts and give it to the e-zine that you want. I mean, don't double duplicate your work. Don't write something for you and then something for them. Write something for you and give it to them. So kind of, I guess that's called leverage. That's called leverage. But let me see now. I'm going to the question board and to see if anyone has any questions on getting yourself into publication. And that's how it's done. And then the beautiful thing is that once you are published by Senior Living or TRO or whoever it is, you now can send those articles as attachments to clients, to prospects, to help you position yourself as the one in the know. Because people who talk a good game, but people who write, they must know what they talk about because they write it. It's a powerful psychological edge. If you write it, you must be smart. Okay, so first of all, somebody type in the word yes, just yes. Okay, thanks, Sharon. Second of all, thank you, Joe. Hey, Joe, I hope you got my message on the road when I blew by. I called you 15 times going by Jacksonville. Joe, tell me yes again, Joe Santoni, if you got my phone message as I blew by Jacksonville, so I'm not a bad guy. I got a funny feeling I'm a bad guy. Okay. All right. Does anybody have any question on the articles? Ooh, wait a minute. Joe, yeah. Joe, I called you 15 times. You missed the free beer. Sorry, pal. Anybody on the articles? I mean, now, here's the danger, folks. Here's the danger. The danger is that you write an article in the confines and the safety of your office. You have your cup of coffee, you have an idea, you have your computer, and you type your article, and life is really grand. And you say to yourself, boy, this is great. This is marketing. I'm getting my name out there. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. However, you're not in the article writing business. You're in the sales business. You're in the marketing business. So take 1 hour or 2 hours a week if you want and devote it to article writing, but don't make a living. That's not your living. You have to go out and meet people. That's your living, not writing. You're not a writer, but writing is a piece of your marketing puzzle, but you're not a writer, if you understand what I mean. So don't get so caught up in the cozy comforts of writing, because it takes more than that. This is just a little piece of the puzzle to make it work. So, I'm opening up the lines here, the question box there. Anybody question? Any questions? Throw questions in or ideas. Maybe we move on to the next idea. Let me see. I'm looking down. I don't see anything coming in on the question box. I'm going to give you 5 more seconds. And then I'm going to share another idea, and then we'll call it a day. Anybody? Okay, nobody. All right. I think I mentioned this last time, and what I'm saying is the article is a piece of your marketing puzzle. It's just a piece of it. Because what you want is, oh, I know that name. I read that name somewhere. Oh, I see that guy. And they want you familiarize yourself by being visible in a lot of different ways, by attending different functions, handing out your business card, writing articles, responding to blogs, and that's how you do it. And while I think of it, I just said responding to blogs. I responded to a blog on LinkedIn the other day. And if you go to LinkedIn in the business section and you start reading posts from other professional salespeople who are selling all kinds of stuff, computers and airplanes and software and everything, they sell everything, you will realize very quickly that you can't invent a problem that they don't have already. I mean, this is not unique. Your challenges, your frustrations, your stress, if there is such a thing, is not confined to your business. Everybody is out there exhibiting the same problems, and they're asking, how do I respond to this email? That's what they're asking on LinkedIn, and these professional big shots, these salespeople, whoever they are. How do I respond to this? When is it time to quit? When do I give up on a prospect? And then here's one this week. When do I give up on my business? When it's not working, and what do I do? How long do you stay? And these are questions that everybody is asking. So please don't think for a minute that anything that's going on in your world is isolated to you, because it's not. We are all in this thing together. We all have ideas. We all don't act on ideas sometimes. We all do act on ideas sometimes, and they don't work. Sometimes it don't work better than others. What works, I don't know, but we have to keep spinning, and maybe tied all together, it does work. And that was my example last week when I said that guy out in front of the oil change business was spinning a sign. That in itself didn't work, but that sign on Congress Avenue, plus the little promotional piece in the newspaper, plus their sign on the building, plus a guy in the supermarket that had their company logo on the back of his shirt checking out the 6-pack of beer. I mean, it all works. It all works in a big, big circle. You just have to keep spinning that circle, keep doing stuff. Following up, keep following up. Which brings me to my last point. I threw out a press release. And this is a major point, I think. This is a major, and I'm talking because I don't see any other ideas coming in right now. But major point, I tossed out an idea, and it kind of spun into a bigger idea. Go to MikeMarchev.com/river cruising if you haven't done it. And I press released it, and the Travel Institute picked it up. And now I have, in essence, I have 150 prospects that I didn't have before I had that idea. Now here's the good news. I have 150 in a week of prospects who responded to my press release, and I have their email and their name. Now, Friday, Travel Research Online is going to announce my program, and they're sending it out to 72,000 people. Their list is 72,000. So I think I'm going to get another 100 or 200 or who knows. But I'm going to have, at the end of this little campaign, 300 prospects. Now, how many will turn into customers? Who knows? I don't know. But you folks on the line today, you have to throw out these trial balloons, and you will get 5 more prospects or 10 more prospects or 30 more prospects. And that is your business, is how can I identify somebody who is speaking my language, either it's travel or honeymoons or wine and boutiques and cruises and river cruises, whatever the language is. It's Alaska, could be Alaska, whatever. I have to find those people and then find out if they go to the right or to the left. Do I cultivate it, or do I say thanks for coming? And that's your business, is to keep doing stuff. And if you go to that river cruising free URL that I'm directing you to, you're going to see the strategy. You write a letter and say, hey, I have a topic. I'd love to talk to you. I have a fashion show. I'd love you to come. I have a wine tasting deal. I'd love you to come. I'm going to explain how river cruising down the Rhone works. I'd love you to come. And if you can't come, I'm going to talk about it on the telephone next Tuesday night. So why don't we all get on the phone next Tuesday night and listen to me interview a wine expert, talk about the Rhone as they cruise down on a river cruise. And you can just dial in and listen. And that's what I do, and it works. Because you now have 50 people to cultivate, and then 50 more. And the more you get, they're going to drop into the customer list. So look for the TRO. If you haven't done it, go back to Travel Institute and see what I did there. Go to TRO and see what I did there, and you do the same thing. Offer information that's easy to get to from nice, fun, happening people, and you will get your suspects will turn into prospects, will turn into clients. And I'm afraid that's how the game works today. So I'm done. Let me see if anyone has anything to say. I had an idea. Okay, Phyllis, I'm coming at you, Phyllis. So hold on. Hold on, Phyllis. I had an idea, a situation I added at the beginning of the call. Hold on, Phyllis. I didn't get that. So I'm going to now go to the attendee list. And Phyllis, get a couple glass of water because I'm going to unmute you in a second as soon as I find you. Okay, here we go. Okay, Phyllis, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, you're on the line now, and I'm sorry I missed that earlier in the program, so what do you have for us?
That's A-okay. Everything was very interesting today. I was at the Home Base Forum in Las Vegas last week, and, it always energizes you to, be around other people and great networking ideas and what. One of the suppliers that I met with contacted me yesterday and wanted me he wants to co-op with me to run a newspaper ad. I've never done that, and I've always shied away from it. They do not sell to the public, which is a good thing. I wanted some feedback. Has anybody done that? I'm so skeptical, to be honest, of people just calling and shopping you. Do I want to do this? Any feedback on it from anybody?
Okay. Phyllis has an opportunity to co-op in a newspaper ad with a supplier. And I suppose you don't have to give us the name if you don't want, but it's a respected supplier, right, Phyllis?
Oh, absolutely, yes. It's Image Tours, not, and they said that there was nobody here in my area, and they only work with one, agency in the area, and they do this. And, he told me some pricing. He negotiates with the local newspaper, and, it's mostly Europe tours, which definitely appeal to me. And but I just, you get a lot of those people that just call you because maybe they want to fill up some time, maybe they want to shop you, and I hate to sound like that, but I've never been one to do an ad, so I just want to hear what other people say and what their results is. And
okay, good, and that's excellent. And let's open it up now. Somebody go down into the question box and tell me you want to talk because you have done an ad and you have an opinion on putting an ad in the newspaper either by yourself or co-oping.
He did
the
claim.
question from Sharon is, what is the return rate from the other agencies he has done this with? So a question that you might ask, Phyllis, is when you've done this before with other agencies, how many people bought the tour or the?
I did ask that question, and he said it takes 7 people, not 7 double occupancy, but 7 individuals booking to recoup the ad, not even long term. It was only maybe 6 weeks. But he said that it was very successful, that some of the agents did it for years at a time. They've been doing it for 13 years. So he
Okay,
didn't give me an
and what
exact
I would
number.
do, and I'm going to still open it up to the people who know out there. I would say, can I have the name and number of a couple of people let me talk to them.
He
Let me
said he
talk
was
to
going to
people.
send it to me. I haven't received it yet, but those, he can pick and choose that as well. So that's why I wanted to hear from these unbiased folks out there.
Well, okay, and here's an answer from Donna. I've generally found newspaper ads to be a waste of time and money. The ad will build image, not to the tour operator, not necessarily to you. So this particular person found out that they didn't have success. Bob, I would look at what the ad would cost me and what I think the ad would generate for me. Okay, so he would, again, it's what's my investment and what's my anticipated return before rolling the dice. And add to that, Phyllis, I would ask for the names of a few people. And if he said, here's 2 names, this is a little tongue-in-cheek, but if you, let me have 2 names of somebody that this has been successful for. He then will give you 2 names. Once he does, say, now let me have 2 more.
Right.
And call those.
Well, he
Call
said he
number
was
3 and
going
4.
to. He said he would send them.
Okay. Well, I would do my due diligence and find out, and you can see if people are, they're not going to be lying for this guy, but also decide. My other response personally is that one ad in and of itself is not in your best interest because it takes a number of impressions to kind of get through the noise. So I would be budgeting 3 or 4 or 5 impressions if I wanted to prove something, which would add to the cost.
You mean different publications?
No, it could be the same one, but I mean just
Okay.
one ad blind, one time, one shot. That's I don't endorse that in today's busy, hectic world.
Okay.
I mean, I believe that it takes a number of impressions, it takes a number of emails, a number of letters, a number of sightings before somebody feels comfortable enough to start talking money. That's my opinion. Now the other thing, Phyllis, is budgets. Let's just pick a number. Let's say that, and I don't want to know the answer to this, but let's say it cost you $1,000. Let's say you were going to roll the dice for $1,000. Well, okay, the $1,000 will buy me one impression with this magazine, with this newsletter, whatever it is, one time, one shot. Now, what else could I do with that $1,000? Where's the opportunity lost there? If I had $1,000, I could toss it with one ad, or now hear me through here. This is kind of crazy thinking, but maybe not. Or I could buy a year subscription, a year membership to somebody at a health club, and now I have 12 months of visibility talking to people who might take a cruise. So in other words, it's where's that $1,000 best spent if I'm going to spend it?
Yes, I thought about that, and I've always been very skeptical of this, and he just made it sound like it was very, very successful, and the fact that they don't sell to the public, that was kind of intriguing, so I thought I would investigate it a bit further.
Let me see, and I'm glad you did. Let me see. Okay, hold on a second. Diana say we have not been successful with print ads. How many times is the ad going to run? And I think, Diana, the answer in this case would work 1. I think Phil's talking about 1.
Well, what he was proposing was 6 weeks to start with, and it could go longer. But a minimal, it was, I think, 6 weeks to
All right,
start.
and okay, let's open up here. How much would it cost you?
It was the outside was going to be total was going to be $1,600, and then they would pay half. But I was, of course, paying it up front.
All right, so $800.
So, like you said, $1,000.
Yeah, $1,000. Okay, about $1,000 to roll the dice. Well, if depending on the 1 or 2 people who see it, I mean, if you have the 1,000 and if you wanted to roll the dice and see if it worked, you could do that because you could hit the home run. Who knows? Now, would I do it? I don't think I would do it.
Right.
I don't think Diana would do it. Let me see what John has to say. John Schmidt. We worked with Image Tours for years. Their ads do make the phone ring. In addition to the ads, you must have excellent knowledge of Europe in order to make the sale. Okay, so there's the input back from John. Now, as far as shoppers go, if I'm not interested in Europe, I'm not going to, I got nothing else to do. What do you want to do today? I don't know. Let's call Phyllis and ask her about Europe. You don't do that. When somebody dials your number, there's a reason they dialed your number. There's a reason. Now, shoppers are good things. I want you to come. I want you to call me. Call me. Now, what I do with that phone call is my business. I mean, I could eliminate you in 2 seconds, or I could cultivate a relationship, but I want the phone to ring.
Yes.
I want it to ring because that's why it's there. Now, if I can get your name and email and get back to you, and I can put you on my C list or my B list or my A list, but I have to get that phone to ring. So please, I don't like people to say, oh, they're just shoppers wasting my time, because you want people to contact you. Then you decide to cult them out into the A, B, or C list, and then you decide how much time you want to spend on them. And then early in the conversation, you say, let me tell you how I work. It costs you $150. Should we go any further? Boom, dial tone. Well, they get off the line.
Right.
So you can shake people off the line real quick without getting them upset with you. This is the way you run your business. Let me see who else is on. Let's see. Image is very reputable company. Okay, Image also have the limited tour, so you get the inquiries. Let me just read what John said. Image is a very reputable company with a good product. Also, Image has limited tours, so you may get inquiries and actually sell your prospect another tour. Ask Image to pay 70% of your cost. All right, so what John is suggesting, Phyllis, is, negotiate a little bit.
Sure.
No 50-50, 70-30. Let's give it a shot. Let me see what Pamela has to say. You'll need repetition if you go print ad. Ditto on the number of ads. Okay, you need exposure. Sharon agrees with everything that's going on. And here's Nancy. Nancy says, there is someone in my area that runs that ad for them all the time, so I assume they are doing well. Okay, and which is another great benchmark, is that you look at other competitors' ads, and if it's there for the next 5 years, something's good happening. People don't just throw good money after bad.
Right.
Dean says, the word is that print advertising does not bring return on investment. Okay, print ad might be branding, it might let people know you're alive, but it doesn't necessarily bring a return on your investment, according to Dean. Sharon says, I have had a press release put in a local paper and an ad in a publication that has a 6-month shelf life and didn't get any response. I find networking and other cost-effective methods more effective. So there is an example of taking your investment and putting it in a different drawer, invested elsewhere, according to Sharon. I hope this is all making sense, Phyllis.
Yes, it absolutely is. And, most of it's all what I've already thought about. I just wanted to hear, what everybody thought, because it's something I've always shied away from, always. I just thought I could spend my money better, and, elsewise, and I'm still kind of thinking that.
Are you home-based, Phyllis? Yes, you are.
Yes,
right?
I am. Yes,
okay.
I am.
Okay. May I ask you a personal question, Phyllis?
Sure.
Okay. All right. That's sales lesson 805, folks. I asked Phyllis if I could ask a personal question. Phyllis's answer was what, Phyllis?
Sure.
Sure. So now I'm not a creep when I ask this question. If I did not set it up with permission, I would be a creep. Now, it's not that kind of question, Phyllis. Don't get excited. Okay, but the point is, ask people permission to ask questions, and now you have an open forum. It's a great lesson. So here's my question, Phyllis: do you belong to a health club?
Yes, a yoga studio.
Okay, now, do you meet people at the yoga studio?
I get a lot of business there.
Okay, instead
yes,
of take your $1,000 that you're going to invest in a newspaper ad and join a Zumba class.
Okay. Yeah.
Spend the rest of your life exercising, And the worst thing that could happen is you live to be 130.
Yeah.
Right?
I
I mean, you're
hope.
going to be in shape and healthy, but you're telling me that yoga works. So go to a second yoga class in a different town. And there's where you're
I
going to get your business from.
No, I agree with that, and that's what I do. I do a lot of networking, and I always think it works much better, and people actually get to know you. An ad is so impersonal, and that's really what I do. I give personal service, so I've just always shied away, but it kind of seemed like it was pretty cost effective, and I've never done it, and they did not, sell to the consumer. So I just, okay, well,
All right.
everybody
You got your input, and
reconfirmed.
I think I know which way you're going. And okay,
Right.
so thanks, Phyllis, for bringing that up. Thank you very, very much. All right, I'm going to call this. I'm going to just read the next two things and then call it a day here. Print ads work for us in Palm Coast. Okay, so Arvid has a retirement area that they work in Palm Coast, but they do not work in Jacksonville. So there you go. So if you want to try it, but in your case, Phyllis, I think we have the answer. And what Dean says, join a sports club or a BNI, better to put your heart in. Okay, so that we're saying the same thing there is join more clubs because you've
Right.
got a
Been
good
there and doing
personality,
it.
and that's how it works. Okay, so this was a great idea Wednesday. I think we covered some ground. If we covered some ground, just shoot me a quick email and say that this session today was okay, so we know next time we can continue to do it some more. Mike@MikeMarshev.com. If there's something else that you have a problem with, let me know. You got to communicate. You got to communicate, folks. That's how we're going to make this club better and better and better. You got to talk to me, and we got to talk to each other. So Wednesday, it's 2 o'clock. It's time for lunch for some of us. Have a great afternoon. We'll talk to you next week, and thanks for coming in today. This is going to be recorded. It'll be up on our line. Anybody who needs help with the website, let me know. I can walk you through it. A lot of good stuff up there, a lot of good stuff. And have a good Wednesday, and thanks for coming in. This is the end of Idea Wednesday. Thanks, folks.